Hi, Jay. You've got to add to your documentary. How are you feeling right now?
Under pressure.
Under pressure. But you've seen yourself on the big screen for the first time today. How is that?
Yes, really odd.
But a little bit amazing?
Oh yeah, it's quite fun.
He cried.
Me.
Hello, my name is Jay.
What you're about to watch is a collection of recordings of both sounds and sights made over the summer of 2021.
My 19th summer on Earth.
I've decided to make this film to document what may be one of the most important seasons of my life.
Coming out of several periods of forced isolation, with days upon days with only myself for company,
My perspectives on life have changed.
I've been given so much time to think about life and what I was suddenly missing.
With a total of 3 lockdowns that came at times where I just started to see new things around me, both physically and spiritually, giving me time to reflect on the things I've been noticing, experiencing, and, most importantly, learning.
My life has, in the strangest way possible, been enhanced by this time spent alone.
I now see the world completely differently from how I did last summer or the summer before.
I see every tiny thing differently from how I did before, and I wanted to capture this new profound beauty in the only way I knew how.
In a film.
There have been many different voices talking so far. None of them are mine, but all of this writing, all of these words, they are very much mine.
They are my thoughts, my realizations and my musings from this summer.
All of the videos you see are the things I've seen, things that have made this summer so important.
Just as these voices have contributed so much to my summer and to my life so far.
Nothing in this film is supposed to mean anything special. Take that from the person who made it.
This is a project dedicated to the people and places that have sculpted this summer into a time that I will forever hold close to my heart.
A time of becoming an adult.
This is a project for myself. A time capsule of the beginnings of a new perspective of life. A time capsule for the days when I really started living and seeing the beauty around me.
Whatever form that may come in.
This is all there is to the film. This is a love letter to life.
A thank you to the small moments in my life that have meant something to me.
What will one day be a distant memory of one summer on Earth.
Hand over, sound over silence. Mind and mind understanding, there's faith in the fall. Marvelous maker of spaces, rotting the honey and wine. I'm praying patience and wasting youth while I wait for the rest to refine.
COVID-19 pandemic, a diary, 19th of March 2020 to the 25th of June 2020 plus 2021.
Self-Isolation Day 1, March 19th, 2020. Today I prepared for the next however long I am alone for. I set up access to online classrooms and I ran some errands in town. Josie very kindly brought some paper back from college, as well as some paints. Tomorrow I'll try not to use them all.
Self-Isolation Day 7, March 25th, 2020. It's been Play Bare Naked Lady's biggest hit. Since going into self-isolation, and it feels like it's been 3 at least. I'm finding things to do, but I know I'll lose it at some point. I did work today, did only 5,000 steps as I pulled a muscle in my ribs. I've decided I want to make a cake. I'm trying to find my top 20 albums. I want to buy more albums, but I can't buy loads as I don't have a job this month. I probably won't for a few months.
Self-Isolation Day 12, March 30th, 2020. Just some more normal day, online lessons and television. It feels like it's been 6 weeks.
Self-isolation, day 25, April 12, 2020. Today, Boris Johnson was discharged from hospital. He won't be doing anything for a week or so. Did he ever? I watched The Exorcist, which wasn't scary. I also read about experts believing the UK will have the highest death rate in Europe. I went for a walk on the hill with my parents. We sat and watched the empty roads from the top of the hill.
Self-isolation day 30, April 17th, 2020. The enjoyment is really, really wearing out. I'm not scared, not too worried, just fed up. I want to go to the cinema. I want to go to HMV to buy a CD and thank the person behind the till. I want to go to the charity shops. I saw pictures of a Nightingale hospital in Manchester. It looks like something straight from a film. That is scary.
Self-isolation, day 43, April 30th, 2020. Mixed day. Yesterday, I finished a first draft for English creative writing piece. I hated it. I had lots of self-doubt. In the evening, it got better. Finally finished Good Omens.
Self-isolation day 58, May 14th, 2020. Long walk today, 15,000 steps. This is the escapism I have resorted to. I also found out I've been breaking the rules very often. We aren't allowed to sit on benches. I heard nothing of this before. I didn't sleep well. I was thinking lots.
Self-isolation, day 74, May 30th, 2020. I keep forgetting about this. Everything is getting to my head. I haven't done 10,000 steps for a week. A rest which I need but feel bad about.
Self-isolation day 75, May 31st, 2020. Competed in Panto quiz. 1. I want to be a quizzer now. I don't want to do schoolwork. Everything is becoming too much.
Self-isolation, day 82, June 7th, 2020. Awful day, cloudy head, couldn't think straight. I finished E's autobiography, which was uplifting but not enough. I'm not sure why I felt that way.
Self-isolation day 84, June 9th, 2020. Another bad head day. It must have been for Emily too. She was in a bad mood. When making a cake, she licked her fingers and refused to wash her hands. The cake is now in the fridge, and I can't stop thinking about it. I need to put it in the bin.
Self-isolation, day 95, June 20th, 2020. I've realised that spending so much time alone has let me think so much about myself. It's let insecurities grow and parasites of the mind form. I talked with my friends today about going for a walk on the hill soon. Speaking face to face with someone else who is a close friend seems terrifying, but like a holy grail, it still seems so distant.
Um, it's it is November, and once again we are going back into lockdown. And I feel like this is the worst time we could be going into a lockdown for me. I'm not going to keep a diary, not like last time, because I just kept not writing in it, because I either forgot or I ended up feeling so bad that I didn't write in it and about myself. So when I've got something to say, I'll just say it here, I'll record it. Then I don't actually have to watch the days grow and count, and I can just listen back if I really want to. It feels like somebody's just pulled my head out of the toilet and now they're pushing it back in that water, and they're gonna pull that flush at some point, and I don't know when. Yeah, there we go. Happy lockdown to everybody.
A complex mosaic.
Every second of every day is something special.
Whether to us or to someone else, who we may not know.
At every moment, someone has their day made.
Someone smiles and someone feels an unmatched joy that comes with love, friendship, parenthood, or simply being in the perfect second.
A fraction of life in which everything to them is perfect.
Every second in our lives can be looked at this way.
Every second we are alive, we are proven to ourselves that we can live.
Every imperfect second we've lived before is an imperfect second we've overcome.
We can look back on what we've lived through as proof to ourselves that we are strong and can get stronger.
Every moment, night or day, should be lived in.
We need to stop once an hour at the very least to remind ourselves that we're alive and existing in a life that will never be led again.
We should remember that we will never again get to live through another previously lived through second.
Every exchange we make, every walk we take, every mouthful of food, every journey, no matter how big or small, is a unique experience.
We hold on to memories as if they are the most profound parts of our lives, and in doing so, we miss the truly profound.
We miss the moments we're in.
The way the light hits our eyes as it arrives on Earth, in that particular place, at that particular time. Living life is a constant, present experience. Just a minute without thinking about the past or the future, where you've been or where you're going, is an overwhelmingly enchanting feeling.
Every minute becoming a complex mosaic of tiny marvels.
I'm really frustrated at everything because I was at a point where I was beginning to think I knew myself, and I was beginning to see things that I hadn't seen before and feel things I hadn't felt before. And now we're back in lockdown, just at a point where I felt like everything in my life was making sense. And now we're back to a point where I've had that all taken away, and I don't know whether I'll get it back. And I don't know whether I'm going to ever get a chance to grow back into the places where I had grown. And I feel angry at the world for that, and angry at myself for not recognising all of that sooner, so that maybe I could have grabbed onto it and held it tighter. But there we go.
Sacred ground.
Every place on Earth is sacred ground. Just its existence is important enough, but further than that, every person on the planet has a place or a few places that mean the most to them. Could be anything: a road, a wood, a lake, or a bridge, a park, or a certain bench on a hill. Memories are associated with these places, tied tight to them like balloons that mark the celebration of an important event.
I have places like this, most of them that I found this summer, or realised how much they meant to me this summer. There's an old trail that used to be where a railway ran. 2 red brick bridges arch over the trail, towering tall but not as tall as the trees that curve around, stretching up and around for 2 banks at either side of the trail, covering the sky and leaving dappled light on the dirt path. Then there's a nature reserve, a specific part of one on the side of the hill. It's made of many mounds, all clustered together like an audience of plateaus, watching over the fields below. There's a chalk pit not far from there. There's only one easy way in, a path that takes my breath away every time. The size and majesty of the chalk slopes is amazing. They make me feel safe and sheltered. They make me feel hidden away from the rest of the world. It feels like my secret place that I can go to whenever I need to be alone.
What I realised over the summer, when I spent so much time in these places, is that I could be walking on someone's sacred ground wherever I am, whatever I'm doing. Any bench I sit on could be the place where someone admitted a love, met a new friend, received good news, or had a final lunch with someone who mattered to them. Every path I walk could be the path someone walked with their dog on their first outing together. It could be the path where someone bumped into someone who would one day mean the world to them. Every quiet, secluded spot in the woods or on a hill or a beach could be where marriage was proposed or where a first kiss was shared. I feel this magic everywhere I am. I feel the personality and the importance of every blade of grass and every flower.
Only a small amount of these flowers, of these blades of grass, matter to us, just as only a few people in this world really matter to us. But everyone we pass and everywhere we go to someone is special. These people and these places are someone's life and joy, the personal place they confide in and rely on, the thing that makes someone happy and hopeful. Just like people, this earth is a web of individual pleasures, little things that make people feel like themselves, places where they can be who they want to be, grounds that, to them, is sacred.
I've never felt worse than this in my life, and I don't feel real. I don't know what's happening or when it'll stop.
History.
I often think about history. I think about my history, the history of my friends and family, and the history of the world on bigger and smaller scales. It fascinates me. It's magical to think about the fact that every present moment is soon history, something accessible only through memories or photographs or films. Every one of these moments is completely dictated by history.
Every moment I've lived this summer is now history, a statement that will remain true forever. All of it is now inaccessible and physically non-existent, with only suggestions that it ever happened. When I feel so alive looking at the sky or the sea or my own face in the mirror, I remember that one day I will think back to that moment as recent history, and one day the distant past. I think about how I am growing and changing every day, and that every day I've gone to sleep ever so slightly different to how I woke up, never the exact same person as I was even an hour before.
I think of places like that too. Going out for walks on the hill or wandering through town or even bigger cities. Thinking about the life that is there and that has been there and that will be there. I think about the huge skyscrapers and imagine what they looked like when they were first being built up from the ground. I imagine that ground and what was there before it was paved over, urbanised, even claimed as a part of some lord's property. I think about the conversations that led to all that change. I think about the conversations that will be had that will lead to further change.
I imagine what cities looked like when there were first towns and villages. I imagine the landscape before buildings were even built there, before human feet even walked there. It makes me realise that so many people throughout time have stood on the spots that I've stood on, and that millions of people will stand on all the spots I've stood on tomorrow alone. And to them, I will be history. I will be the history of that spot, a passing second in which I was alive in the same place they are living.
It reminds me that in this ever-changing world, these moments are so truly unique and irreplaceable. It reminds me that my future self is looking back on me right now, remembering this moment as a mere flash in my history.
I'm in a weird situation right now. It it's a weird time. And I feel as if still bad, but not as bad. I don't know. It feels like somebody's just stood at the end of a tunnel and now they're shining their torch down towards me, and I have something to walk towards. I don't know, I feel like the help that I've been getting has been working, and that I might not feel bad forever, and that I might feel better soon.
An instruction.
I met an old man on the bus.
I say met lightly, as if anything. He approached me.
It was a strange moment, something that hadn't ever happened to me before, but a moment that has stayed with me.
The man, before getting off the bus, looked me in the eye and simply said,
Be sure to assure to make sure you have a good day.
He said nothing else and turned around, slowly, making his way off of the vehicle.
I was stunned, stood in the aisle of the bus, not knowing what to make of what had just occurred.
That day was great.
Whilst the advice naturally could have been awful, I know it made my day special.
That whole day was spent thinking about this encounter. It made me notice things. It made me realise just how beautiful that day was.
Not in retrospect, but as I was living and breathing it.
It was 12 words that changed that day for the better. 12 words that made the clouds whiter and the trees greener. 12 words spoken by someone whose name I have never known. 12 words spoken by a voice I will probably never hear again.
I can't remember what this man looked like or what he wore, but I remember his spirit. I remember his words.
Those words will stay with me forever because they made my day better. They improved my life in a small but important way.
Those words will outlast their original speaker. Now they will outlast me.
Place here with the hope that they may make your life better too.
I finally found that person with a torch. I've finally gotten to where they are and met them and shaken their hand and not felt as uncomfortable as I would have done a couple of weeks ago shaking their hand. Somehow. I don't know what their name is. I'd quite like to find out.
Conversation.
After a long period of time spent locked away at home, I never realised how beautiful conversation really is.
Even if I don't understand it or can't comprehend it, the fact that people exist together and communicate, conveying ideas and stories and sights and sounds to each other is spectacular.
I used to take it all for granted. I never saw the beauty in it. I never saw the wonder.
Every movement, every twitch, every smile, every gesture, it all means something.
Words we say create chemical reactions that cause others to feel happy and comfortable and liked. The sounds we make, the language we speak, give people hope. Tiny things we do can change the chemistry of the brain due to millennia of evolution and the cultivation of ever-changing languages.
In a room full of people, the reactions of people, the reactions happening are so full of life, which is such a beautiful thing. I find myself often the observer at the side, watching people as they interact with each other, as they make each other laugh and cry and smile.
I find myself imagining the billions of things that had to happen to make everyone in the room arrive at the moment they are living.
Births,
Love, friendship,
plans,
happiness,
trust.
Everyone eventually leaves and it all resets, as chemical reactions reduce to memories, feelings, photographs, and films like this. Moments in time, seemingly so insignificant, but in reality, so very important and influential in their own special ways.
Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our debt. Forgive us of our debt, as we also have forgiven debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Our Father in heaven, our Father in heaven, our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Strangers on a train.
Making my way home from Brighton earlier in the summer, I met a man named James. He spoke with a thick Scottish accent and wore blue denim jeans, a blue shirt and blue shoes. He approached me at the train station on the platform and asked whether I thought he could get away with getting on a train without a ticket. Due to the ticket office being closed and the ticket machine being out of order, I told him that I didn't think it would be a problem.
That interaction could have ended there. Nothing more was needed, but it happened. James noticed that I was holding a poster in my hand, one I had brought back from the cinema. We got talking about films and cinema and my ambitions for the future, including my urge to make films like this one. This led to talking about the future in general.
James told me he wished that someone approached him when he was young and told him to live life and to think about the future in relation to the present. He told me that only young people could make a difference. I realised that he was giving me the gift he always wished he was given. I realised that he was giving me the conversation in an effort to make my life better. He was the person that he always wished had approached him.
We sat together on the train, him opposite me, and we talked more. More about films, about Parasite and Bong Joon-ho, about Jim Jarmusch and David Lynch, and about Days of Being Wild, which I had just seen. He spoke about how he and his partner had been watching a marathon of Kate Winslet films, and how much he adored Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. He told me about how he was visiting family in Sussex, family who lived in the same town that I do. It dawned upon me that at that moment, James and I knew each other. We knew each other when, An hour earlier, we were complete strangers standing in the same place at the same time. I realised that an hour later, we would once again be strangers. Strangers living our own lives, having crossed paths, learned of the other's existence, now equipped with a conversation that wouldn't have happened if James had paid for a ticket earlier, or if I had caught the bus or an earlier train.
Every day of my life, I've woken up in a world in which James lived. A man who I had no idea existed. The day after, and every other day after, I shall wake up with the knowledge that James is out there, or has been out there. He will eat, he will drink, he will breathe in the same world as me, another member of a huge society of individuals who are, once again, as good as strangers, a tiny part of our life gone by. We will still hear the same news, hear the same music, and feel similar feelings, and receive warmth from the same sun. We are tiny, insignificant parts of each other's vast, vast lives, but we're still parts, still tiny overlaps. Two people who talk for half an hour on a train in the middle of August.
So, well, it's weird. I've realised recently I've been appreciating life a lot more. I am walking by the side of a road, on a path, of course. I've realised that I'm appreciating everything so much more in a new way that I wouldn't be appreciating all of this if it wasn't for the lockdowns and for that awful time I had. But out of all of that, terrible stuff has come this new way of looking at things and this new appreciation. But I feel like it's only now that I'm appreciating that appreciation, which is really weird, but that's the only way I really know how to put it. It just feels like it sort of clicked. But I don't know what to do with it. I just want to share it because I realise in a weird way everyone else has been slumping as I've been pushing upwards and really loving everything and loving the world, and I want to share that. I want everyone to love the world as much as I love it right now. Yeah, that is all I have for today. Yeah, good night.
Ink, paper, me, and my film.
In the middle of July, I saw a piece of newspaper plastered to a green clothing donations bin in a car park not far away from my house. On the paper, someone had printed a message in black ink. It's up to you to see the beauty in everyday things. From the moment I saw that piece of paper with large black letters, I thought about it every day. It stuck with me like a constant companion. It reinforced everything I'd felt about life and everything I'd learned and had been taught this summer, and confirmed to me that those views I've been developing were real. They were true. I stood there, captivated by the piece of paper that was blowing gently in the wind. I knew right there that the most beautiful moments were those that came and passed like a gentle wind, like walking past a restaurant and seeing 20 conversations behind glass, 100 lives colliding in one place at one time. I knew that there was nothing more overwhelming, breathtaking, than the sound of a plane passing overhead at night, the sound of a stranger's journey breaking the silence and the emptiness of the dark sky. Someone walked down the street and smiling at another passerby, throwing a stone into the sea, eating an apple. All these things will never happen in exactly the same way ever again. Each of these things unique to that point in time, that beautiful second that can never be repeated.
Life is a series of millions of those moments. Happiness, sadness, anger, love. These feelings start so small, caused by a minute or even a second in time, growing into something so spectacularly huge. Being alive is beautiful in itself. The lives that we all live each hold their own special magic, special individual magic that I am lucky enough to be able to see.
These thoughts and conclusions, and the rest of the thoughts and conclusions in this film, have been made simply because some ink was sourced and a page of newspaper was found by somebody who got up, ate breakfast, drank water, and walked to the very place where I had been so many times and pasted the message for me to see when I would one day wake up, eat breakfast, drink water, and walk back to the place I had been so many times before.
Because I got up, ate breakfast, drank water, and walked to that place, I am now here, writing this to be spoken to you. After you got up this morning and ate breakfast and drank water and watched this film to the end, so many beautiful moments tied together in a long, untraceable chain.
Our lives are not ever one singular thing. Our lives are constantly determined by others, for better or for worse, influenced by the millions of other beautiful moments, just like this one, and the next one, and the next one. The film is finished now, and once the credits roll, we'll turn off whatever you're watching this on, and you'll go about your own day, experiencing your own moments in time. Remember the message left on the bin, and the chain will continue.
Hello there. Hello. It is 1 in the morning, and I cannot sleep, which is strange, because for the last few nights, the last week or so, I've been sleeping really well. It's getting warmer, and summer is approaching, and I'm sort of realizing that I've been sleeping better because I'm healing, or to some extent I have healed. Which is a really strange thing to be saying after all of this, because I'm starting to see that this appreciation of life, this new one that I've been talking about in the last few of these recordings, is probably not a phase, and is probably something that is going to stick around. And it's made me think, wonder, or believe that all of the shit that I have experienced, that I've been through with my mental health, is not for nothing. Which, you know, that's a strange thing in itself, because I wouldn't wish the pain that I felt living with myself and my thoughts on anybody. But I'm aware that I probably wouldn't feel the way I do now without having been through all of that. And so as summer approaches, I want to then, I want to keep this time forever, and I want to put it all somewhere, not only for me, but as again said, I want to share it, and I want to share what I'm feeling with everyone else. So I've decided to make a film which could be a really crazy, bad, hilarious decision, but I'm going to make a film. Good night. An epilogue. never planned to finish with this. I never even planned to have an epilogue. I just wanted to fade into black and then some credits, but when I started structuring the voiceover and Ruby's beautiful music, editing it all together, I realised that those credits wouldn't be worth nearly as much as this. I thought the film needed more closure, a final statement, a cherry on top, or something to bind everything together, and I realised that with every other word spoken in this film, nothing perfectly expressed why I made it. I wanted to avoid finishing my film with my own image. I didn't want to devalue anyone else. But the only way I could say exactly what I wanted to say to everyone I wanted to say it to was to place myself here. Originally, I wanted this to be a film about someone's growth and someone's summer, though quickly I realised the sad truth. This was all about me. This was not a film I was making to illustrate anything other than a growth that I had experienced. It was a film documenting a metamorphosis that I had been through, not anyone else's. Saying that, the most important part of this metaphor is not my change or the result of it. It's about the chrysalis, the cocoon that I found myself in, that I was given unconsciously by the people around me. Though this film is about me, I feature in it so little because I don't need to be there. I don't need to be there because everything you need to understand me is already there. The people around me, the people who you see and hear in this film, have made me who I am. The first 5 months of 2021 were perhaps the most difficult of my life. So difficult that I now call 2021 the worst year of my life. I was not in a good place, surrounded by darkness and facing it alone, living mostly in lockdown. I had undiagnosed OCD, festering anxiety, building up until I could no longer take it. I was disconnected with myself and with others, and I was realising that I didn't know myself nearly as well as I had previously thought I did. But things change. As they say, the darkest hour was just before dawn, and 2021 became the best year of my life. Everyone here has guided me and will continue to guide me in the future, each person ushering me down the path not only of the summer of 2021, but of the path of the last few years and the path of my life. I've been aided to recovery by the people I know, helped endlessly and in so many different and tiny ways. Everyone who has contributed to that, the friends I have made, and the family I hold close, could all find a part of themselves in me, something that I took and learned from and valued on my journey. It's their humanity, their kindness, their humour and their joy that has instilled itself within me and has shone a light on so many personal mysteries and down so many dark tunnels. All of the growth that I have experienced is thanks to these people that I am so lucky to know. I can't take much responsibility for my recovery because it was them who planted the seeds and watered them, and I am only fortunate enough to be able to cherish the fruit that this change has yielded. I don't know where I would be without these people, but I do know that I wouldn't be exactly where I am today, and I certainly know that you wouldn't be here watching this either. Without these people, I don't know whether I would have ever seen the magic in the sky, or in puddles, or in the sound of footfall on an empty street. I don't know whether I would be living comfortably with Asperger's and OCD, and I highly doubt that I would have the privilege of knowing exactly who I am since coming out as non-binary. I wouldn't be the me that has the confidence to share this with the world. For this, for all of this, I want to personally thank you. That is why I am here. That is why I am finishing my film. I want to thank everyone who appears in this film, both visually and audibly. I want to thank everyone who I consider a friend, and everyone who considers me a friend or a family member. This is the only conceivable way I can think of expressing my deep gratitude for what you have given me, whether you know it or not. A film is the only way to show you the wonder I see in the act of living, and that I have only found because of you. All of this, everything you have seen and heard, it's all thanks to you. It wouldn't be here without your help, and so I dedicate it to you in a meagre attempt to give back what you have given to me. Something much bigger than one summer on Earth. Life.
What do you think today, Kitty?
I think it was great.